There it is, an absolute beaut. It is our one server data center. It's a Geekomer 11. You can buy it for less than $150, and if you use the link in the description, it'll support this channel. Otherwise, you can just Google it if you don't want to support the channel. I get it. So I just took a minute and a half here to say something that should be 30 seconds, so you can watch me talk as I tell you in 15 seconds. Ready? Here we go. So you have an Ubuntu server now. You can install apps on it at this point and self-host things that way. However, you should install Kubernetes because when you run out of space on this one machine, you're going to want to expand. And you can do that with Kubernetes very easily by just adding another node to the cluster that we'll create in this video very easily. That's it. So make sure you remember your IP address from before, SSH into it, and then we can run the very simple K3S setup script. Literally just copy and paste the curl in there, authenticate if it asks you to, and let it rip. So a few seconds later, it worked, and we can check and see if the get node command works. Looks good. It is control plane and master. Those are the same thing, I'm pretty sure, but it looks good. It's ready to go. So basically, if we type sudo k3s, we have a fully working kubecontrol command. One more thing though, what if we want to just use bare kubecontrol, like kubecontrol get pod? That doesn't work off the bat because we don't have permission to open that config file. So we can actually copy it if we have root, which we do, into the common place for that file, which is home/.kube/config. Now, first of all, we have to do that as root, and you have to create the kube directory if it doesn't exist. So we copy that into place, and then we can change the owner to us or to me. So replace this with your username, but change the owner to you. You'll have to sudo that as well, and then you should be able to kubecontrol get pod. Oops, it's still getting the old one. So we can export kubeconfig equals home/.kube/config, and then that works, no problem. If you want that change to persist, you're going to have to export kubeconfig is the environment variable. So do that, and then source your bashrc file, and it works. So there you go. Very simple, easy, quick Kubernetes distribution on your NUC. As a bonus, if you want to log in without a password from your laptop or wherever you're accessing your NUC from, then you can do SSH-copy ID, put in the IP address. You'll have to type in your password one more time, and then you should be good to go. So now if I log into 10.0.0.184, it doesn't prompt me for my password, which is wonderful. As a bonus, we can install Helm very easily. You just go to their documentation here, run the curl command. Once you do that, you can just add permissions to execute to that script, and then you can run it. Once that's complete, you should be able to say Helm version, and it tells you that, yeah, Helm's good to go. If you type Helm ls, you can see that it's reaching your Kubernetes cluster. There's no error. It's ready to roll. Last but not least, we can check out nginx.yaml right here, which is probably the simplest YAML that we could deploy to our cluster and actually do something. It deploys a pod with name Nginx, and it uses the latest Nginx container inside of it. So if we kubectl apply this file, and then we say kubecontrol get pod, we can see that Nginx was deployed. If we want to do kubecontrol exec nginx bash, we can shell into that pod. And if we curl localhost 80, we see that it's actually running Nginx on that port. So we know that this all works. We can do kubecontrol delete -f nginx to undo our changes, and we will be back to a nice empty slate on our Kubernetes cluster. So if you head over to the description, there's a link where you can buy a NUC just like the one used in this video. Also, there's a link to a blog post with all of the instructions that we ran in this video. Finally, if you're really loving what you're seeing, you can sign up for our mailing list at pagekey.io/signup. Also, you can subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.